Tonight we are at the drive-in and we're gonna watch uh, Beetlejuice. Normally the movie starts right at 8:30, uh, or they have it at the drive-in set to when the sun goes down. But tonight we get previews or commercials ahead of time, which we rarely have. So that's pretty exciting. Um, I hope I did set it to where people could chat. I realized I didn't double check. I think I'm good though. But yeah, this is my favorite place in the whole world. It's wonderful here, and one of like the last legit drive-ins apparently. But uh, I can kind of see why that is sometimes when people put their fucking headlights on the screen. But okay, guys, that's cool. I have all my windows blacked out so that I'm not crazy annoying as I watch the movie uh, to other people who are around me. Okay, this is a strange. Oh, it's a commercial where a bunch of women are practicing line dancing because they're planning a trip to Nashville. Good for them, I guess. That's pretty cool. Um, as an Expedia commercial. Oh, is this? Oh, this is a Lord of the Rings commercial. I know one of the directors of photography. He did episodes like 2, 3, and 4, I believe. I'll double check that. But I know one of the DPs for the Rings of Power. And I just found that out today, so that was pretty cool. Now it's a Kia commercial. I'm excited that they've got commercials ahead of time because the drive-in really needs to up its game when it comes to advertising themselves and maintenance because like the sign is absolutely fucked here. You can't even see what the name of this place is, but okay, now it's an M&M's commercial. Anyways, but they usually don't put previews or commercials. So it's like, how do you guys expect to make any money so you can fix your signs? Why can't I get my window to go up? Shut up. Damn. Okay. Uh, we're gonna just hope to God that no moths fly in here, and I know I'm jinxing myself as I say that. Okay, that person has their lights directly shining in here. All right, well, they're just gonna have to deal with the fact that I have one little window in which you can see me sort of in here. Ooh, okay, movie's starting. WB logo. It's black and white. Ooh. Uh, it's a woman singing, I don't think that I can take it. And I don't know the rest of the words because I sang over her singing it just now. Geffen Company. All right, cool. Good to know. Uh, Warner Brothers Pictures presents, and it's in the Beetlejuice font, and somebody is shining their lights on the screen because always Tim Burton, Tommy Harper, Plan B Entertainment, something, a Tim Burton film. All right, it's got the Beetlejuicy music. Michael Keaton, beautiful. We would hope so. Is the first list. It just only listed his name. Now says Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Okay, already got our title sequence. I really enjoyed that it only showed his name. Okay, now Winona Ryder, it says. It's Catherine O'Hara. Did I work with her? No, I didn't. No. Uh, Justin Theroux. Monica Bellucci. Is that how you say it? Arthur Conti. His name is pretty funny. I don't mean to be rude with Jenna Ortega. Okay. So it's just and Willem Dafoe. I didn't know Willem originally named William Dafoe. I love that. He changed his name to Willem because it sounded vaguely European. Uh okay. So yeah, it's just doing uh a above shot um what's it, a drone shot going over a town, I guess, and there's like dog barking and shit, but so far it's just the Beetlejuice music and slow drone shots. All right, still going with them, and we are getting lightning now. Executive producers Brad Pitt. Okay. uh they listed his name last with three producers. That they're really trying to bury that. It feels like understandable. So we're just getting lots of lightning. This looks to be a miniature of a maybe the house from the first movie. I haven't seen the first movie in a long time, so I can't necessarily speak to like, hey Alyssa, how's gross. Uh uh okay. So Winona Ryder's saying, come in if you dare. The living, the dead, can they coexist? That's what we're here to find out. My name is Lydia Dietz, and welcome to Ghost House. And then everybody's applauding. Okay. She's like, joining us in the attic tonight are two normal people and their dog, Taco. We're going to hear about how their dream home became a ghost house. All right, sick. Uh, is this a. Okay, so Winona Ryder is hosting a TV show called Ghost House, where she's saying she's been a psychic medium for 15 years, but this is one of the most haunted houses she'd ever been in. And now she's showing footage of like one of those ghost hunting shows. Uh, and yeah, she's getting fucked up. There's, oh, Taco the dog is on the ceiling fan. Sorry, that was a moth. All right, we are rolling that window up. That's fair. It'll be fine. Okay. Um, goddamn Miss Moth. Anyways, uh, they're talking. The people she's interviewing for the Ghost House show are talking about how much their ghost scares their dog, Taco, and the dog's really cute. Okay. Uh, she was in the middle of talking, and now all of a sudden in the studio audience there's lightning and she appears to be hallucinating uh Beetlejuice again. He was like in the audience and he started screaming for like 2 seconds. uh yeah, okay, now her producer ran over to her and was like, do you need a break? All right, Lydia Dietz, everybody. And so she's stepping off. And then somebody shouts, okay, everybody, that's lunch. And by somebody, I mean an AD. Really excited that we got to randomly include a shot of an AD. We didn't need to do that, but we sure did. I'm getting the lights differently synced. I like when they're different colors. Anyways, so Lydia is in the bathroom, uh, hallucinating again. The producer comes up and is like, what happened out there? And she's like, oh, these double taping days. Uh, Oh, he has a little ponytail? It's too little of a ponytail. It's it's so small. Such a small ponytail. Okay. Now apparently they're together. She was trying to hide pills from him, and she dropped them, and he grabs them and he's like, "No, you don't need these." And then he took them and poured them out, and he's like, "I don't want you drowning your talents at the bottom of a bottle of pills." And she's like, "Please, just today." And it's like, uh, okay, but he digs them out and he's like, "Last time I ever dig pills out of a trash can for you, toilet or sink." Uh, okay, he puts one in her mouth and then in his mouth and then gives her a kiss. What kind of meds are they? If they're anti-anxieties and they're necessary for her work, then that's understandable. But okay. Um, Lydia gets a bunch of texts and says she's got to run off, and now it's showing an establishing shot of New York. Oh, and a car's pulling up and they've got background running back and forth and then a bike riding up. I like when they make uh background like overly complicated, like unnecessarily so. Uh oh, okay. Now we're at Catherine O'Hara. Uh she is doing some sort of art project. She appears to be in a museum. Okay. She yeah, is doing performance art. Catherine O'Hara is doing performance art, and she was getting graffiti tagged. And uh oh, okay, so she's like, "Your father's left me." And she's like, "What? You're getting divorced?" And she goes, "Oh no, what a terrible thought. He's dead." He was coming back from his birdwatching expedition, and we switched to claymation. This We're in claymation now to show how Lydia's dad died in a plane crash. Okay, actually, he survived the plane crash, and then he drowned. No, almost, but according to survivors, uh he hung onto a wing. Uh, Lydia's saying, "So how did he die?" Catherine goes, "A shark jumped out of the water, ate him, just like that," and it showed us in the claymation. That was wonderful. Okay. Yes, he flew halfway around the world to watch birds do it on a beach, and it killed him. Pretty good line so far. Not mad about that. Okay. She said that she has to cancel her performance art project. The French dude who was tagging her walked outside and then fell down a manhole. Okay, so I'm guessing he's dead now too. Yup. Close up on him now with weird creepy lights like mine. Um, okay, yeah, he's in a creepy hallway that's like real trippy and goes up and down. Was this in the first movie? I feel strongly like maybe this was in the first movie. Uh, okay. Oh, is a man who from the back sounds and kind of looks like Danny DeVito is saying, uh, "Take a number. Someone will help you eventually." Down the hall and to the left. Okay, so is this in the first movie? They when they die, this is where they go. It is Danny DeVito, and he's a zombie, and he's drinking what looks like oil or cleaner or something. Danny DeVito makes a very convincing zombie, very accurate zombie. I like it. That's pretty good. Uh, do 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 do. Uh, Oh, okay. So he's listening to music and he's cleaning the floors, the Danny DeVito zombie, and he goes over water and it electrocutes him, electrocutes everything, and he falls over as if he got killed by being electrocuted, but he's a zombie. Okay, so then some boxes fell over and they contain parts of people. Okay, a hand is crawling around and pulling different parts out of a box. A woman just found half of her face, squished it back in. Oh, is staple gunning her face back together. Ew, oh, her ears crawling back to her. Staple gunning her ear back on. Good to no, okay. She's calling over her body, staple gunning that. We're really going to do a lot of this staple gunning, it seems like. Uh, uh, weird leg. Uh, ew. I say weird, like, I understand they're all severed, like limbs and stuff, so they're all kind of weird. But yeah, it was in multiple parts, and there was like the middle part was like jumping around on its own. I didn't like that at all. Okay, she's getting the last of her fingers together and put back together, and she, okay, is standing up, and it appears, there we go, she's got good use of her legs again. Danny DeVito stands up, goes, "Hey Toots, you're not supposed to be back here, don't make me tell you twice." And she grabs him by the throat. Ew. Ugh! Sorry, that was so real. He was like puking, then she went to suck his soul out, and I just did like the order of events that happened in. Okay, she's like, yeah, where's Beetlejuice? Sucks his soul out. Now it's to Jenna Ortega, and she is ignoring a phone call, and she is in some sort of prep school, uh, and she's passing a bunch of other girls who appear to be laughing at her. And then she opens the door, and a ghost falls down, is like, boo. And she turns around and says, "When you're all in your third kid and second divorce, we'll see who gets the last laugh." Solid burn. That's fair. Uh, all right. She Her phone goes off again. She's like, "Leave me alone," and throws it away. Now she looks longingly at a picture of her as a child, and who I can only assume is her dad. Uh, okay, now we're back to uh, Catherine O'Hara. Or is it O'Hara? I think it's O'Hara. And Winona Ryder, and they're driving somewhere. Might be easier coming from a non-feminine masculine archetype. He said a man said he needed to give the producer man. Uh, he's like, he was saying that he's a good person to share bad news because his grandfather died recently, and they were like, "Oh, really? When?" And he goes, "Oh, 40 years ago, but in my child body, it was just recently." Okay, so they pulled up to Jenna Ortega's school. Uh, they were trying to figure out how they were going to let her know about it. And what happened is that Catherine is screaming outside her window. Uh, like, okay, and then Jenna Ortega's like, I can't believe Grandpa's dead. He's like the only semi normal person in this family. It's like, all right, way to be a bitch. Okay. There, oh, what does loss look like? Uh, we need to unpack, we need to unpack the art of sorrow. And Jenna Ortega's like, yeah, that sounds really dramatic. I can't go. Fair. Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, the Winona Ryder uh, got, oh, okay. Sorry. Uh, Winona Ryder had another freak out where she thought she saw Beetlejuice. And Jenna Ortega's like, oh my God, my people already know that my mom is Lydia Dietz. Like, blah, blah, something about like, can you try to not be weird or some shit. She's just generally being a bitch child, as Jenna Ortega's characters can do. Uh, she just doesn't fit in, man, you know? Okay. So it cuts to Beetlejuice now, and he's looking at a photo of Winona Ryder and tapping his fingers. A weird little dead thing comes up behind him, and he's like, don't you know I'm focusing? We have a definite psychic connection. Okay, it's showing the dead world now. Uh, I don't like the bugs. Not a fan of the bugs. Um, okay. Uh, Beetlejuice is just got a message saying that he's needed upstairs, telling the other guys to hold down the fort, and it's just showing a bunch of weird little dead guys, doing their things. Okay. Uh, the French artist from before now uh, is banging on the window of where you take a number. Okay, Beetlejuice is sitting in between some dead people. One dude seems to have died in a hot dog eating contest. I hope it was a contest and it wasn't just that he was eating that many hot dogs on its own. Now it hops to somebody getting their mugshot taken, and it shows their face this way and this way, but it was they had their head in their hand. Yes! Willem Dafoe. He's like Wolf Jackson, Afterlife, Crime Unit. And then he's like, okay. Willem Dafoe was apparently an actor. Did he die doing a stunt? Did he was an actor who insisted on doing his own stunts. I wrote a short film the other day about an actor who insists on doing their own stunts, but instead of getting themselves killed, they get the their stunt person killed because they end up dropping out. Anyways, it's a whole thing. It's very long. Um, so they show Beetlejuice a photo of the woman who stapled herself back together. Uh, and Beetlejuice is like, hey, you know what? Guys like us, we drive girls crazy. And Willem Dafoe's telling him that she's got uh, a grudge against Beetlejuice, and she's out for him. And he's saying she's a soul sucker, and he's like, you can say that again. Uh, but Willem Dafoe lets Beetlejuice know that, okay, this is strange. It's the dad's funeral, and a bunch of children are singing. Um, I'm sometimes really bad at finishing a thought, but that's okay. All the children are singing "Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana" slowly. They're just singing that part uh, slowly. Okay, that's haunting. I'm sure they thought that was gonna be like really funny, but it had nothing on the Garden State scene where the woman sings three times a lady, really slow and sad. Okay, now the priest is talking to Catherine and telling her a bunch of stuff, and she's just like, what? Uh, uh, Winona Ryder walked over to Jenna Ortega, and she's like, I haven't been to a funeral since Dad's. And she's like, death is hard. And she's like, sometimes I think life is harder. You don't know that? And then Jenna Ortega's character's name is Astrid. Oh, okay. Okay. Winona Ryder is saying that their relationship was over a long time before the accident. And she's like calling Jenna Ortega's calling Winona Ryder out on not being able to see her dad's ghost. And she's like, oh, you can see any shitty ghost for your random TV, or any random ghost for your shitty TV show, but you can't see the one ghost that actually matters to me. I mean, fair. Ew. Okay. Oh, I forgot the dad got eaten by a shark. I was like, how come it looks like the top part of this dude's been eaten off? Makes perfect sense, in fact, because the top part of him was eaten off by a shark. Fair enough. All right. He walked into a dry cleaner, and the dry cleaner was looking through clothes, and the soul sucking lady comes out, grabs him by the neck, sucks his soul out, and he shrivels up like if you actually like sucked all the air out of something. And just, yeah. So okay, so she finds a wedding dress in the amongst the dry cleaning clothes. She touches it and turns it black. Woohoo, spooky. Uh, Back to Beetlejuice, the water cooler, but it's disgusting water. And he's like, my ex-wife is back. He's like, I know what you're thinking. When was the juice ever tied down? What kind of woman could ever keep him satisfied? And then he's like, I'll tell you, but he says it in a different language, and I can't. In a forgotten age, shrouded by death and the plague, the tendrils of our depraved something story unfolded. It went fast. I was a humble grave robber, plying my trade amidst the corpses of the forsaken. My screen's cutting off the bottom of all the words, too, at the drive-in. My heart had long withered into the abyss, but destiny, like a phantom, cast its long shadow, and cold starless night, her name Dolores. Okay. From the moment I gazed into her cursed eyes, I was bewitched. By the way, he's talking in like Spanish, and it's a cutaway that's all black and white. It's really weird. And it's in captions. The ceremony was traditional. We drank each other's blood, bit the heads off a couple of chickens, and sacrificed a goat. It is showing all of that, and it is fairly unpleasant. Our wedding night, she throws him on a bed, was a symphony of carnal pleasures, a macabre opera of lust and untamed desire. Oh, but my new bride harbored a sinister secret. She was the leader of a soul sucking death cult. Why would he have a problem with that? Seems like he'd be like mildly into it. Isn't he evil? Like a spider closing in on its prey, she was ready to strike. Oh boy. Her quest for immortality demanded two things: my life and my soul. Oh shit. He drinks something she gave him. Hey, I'm into some freaky shit myself, but even I have my limitations. So he chopped her to bits with an axe. Okay, because she poisoned him. And he's like, so we parted ways. She's back and she's pissed. That's how he says it. I'm doing a pretty fantastic Michael Keaton impression. I'm just gonna go ahead and say. All right, now we're back to the house, which the house itself is veiled in black. Okay. I do think that's pretty funny to have a black veil on the house as well. Um uh Now it's showing the wake. Uh Producer dude comes up to Jenna Ortega. He's like, "Hey, it's got to be pretty noisy up here, right?" But like taps her head. He's like, "If you need to process any of your emotions, I'm here for you." And she burps and goes, "Emotions processed, thanks." He said, "Saw you standing next to your grandfather's grave. Must have been a pretty dope dude." Death is so like, it's like tragic. I mean, if you ever want to like cry or just like rage against some of these feelings you have going on there, that I can be that kind of dope dad dude for you, you know? Okay, well, he's kind of trying. Uh, I kind of appreciate that. Um, Guys saying on the way over here, I wrote a poem for your grandpa. And she's like, oh, did you? How's it go? Okay, so she got him and he didn't actually write a poem. He seems like the type of person who would just write a shitty poem. His name is Rory. All right. I'm going to call him Lorelei the whole movie because I know what Rory's short for. Okay. Jenna Ortega is telling this dude that he's just going to exploit her mom and that like if she wants to let that happen, that's on her. Okay, shit. Well, I gotta wait for that one to turn green. Hell yeah. All right. Uh Jane Butterfield Lee. Uh Sorry, somebody just introduced herself as Jane Butterfield Lee. Um she gives Catherine a bunch of cider and says, from our microbrewery. And she's like, is that for people in tiny houses? Okay, and the woman who gave the apple cider is like, to a new life with a new family. Okay, so then somebody comes in and is saying something about like, "Ooh, excited to be at the original Ghost House." And Jenna Ortega's like, "Ghosts don't exist unless you're gullible and trying to take money from people, right, Mom?" It's like, "All right, bitch." Okay. Uh, Nikolai is declaring his love for Lydia. I think he's proposing. He's like, "Oh no." Yeah, he's proposing, saying, "Will you marry me on your favorite holiday? Will you marry me on Halloween?" And she's like, "That's in 2 days." Uh, okay. Uh, and the mom's like, "You're seriously doing this at Charles' wake, Catherine?" And she's like, "Charles hated public displays of affection." Uh, and Lorelai's saying like, uh, "No, because I want to spend the rest of my life with you, Lydia, and you too," to the mom, and then to the daughter, he's like, and you too." And she's saying, okay, Lydia's saying, "I can't commit to this right now," and it's in front of everybody. and now he's and now he's like crying, and he's like, "There's too much loss. First the death of Charles, then the death of my grandfather, as you know, and now the death of us." And he's crying, and it's great. I missed the line before, but he said, "I guess the only thing jumping today is love." And the cord just snapped. I love his performance that he's putting in. Uh, okay, he somehow convinced her. I missed how he convinced her, but she's like, "Okay, I guess." And she looks really unhappy about it. He's like kissing her, and it's gross. And he's like, "She said yes. She said yes." Uh, Okay, Jenna Ortega is not having it. She walks downstairs, hops on her bike, and rides away fast down a hill. We're back to drone shots going over the town. We got guitar music with ladies harmonizing, sounds like. Okay, she's riding through a barn. We've got a camera mounted to the front of her bike. That's just getting her. Now we're in a closer shot of her. They only used one shot of the camera mounted on her bike. Interesting. And now she's riding through town. Uh, oh, she's coming across the girls who bullied her. Miss Shannon's school for girls, she's riding past. I'm guessing that's her school, seeing as how, uh, despite me missing the name, that's where all the girls who bullied her were. So, okay, now she's riding past a bunch of people putting up Halloween decorations, and she was looking at them, and then she swerves. A car almost hits her, and then a bus almost hits her, and now she's ow. And now she rode her bike and went through a fence. She hit a tree, and a boy was in the tree house. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Now the boy's coming out of the tree house. Let's find out if he's cute. I already know. Okay, this is her love interest in the movie for sure. Okay, he's very cute. He's really weird. Hi. She's like, "What are you reading?" He's like, "Crime and Punishment." And she's like, "Yeah, one of those." He's like, "What do you mean one of those?" And she said, "I've read it 3 times." And then she's like, yeah, pain and suffering is inevitable. And he's like, "I can't believe you're quoting Dostoevsky. Where have you been all my life?" And she's like, okay, now they're sitting up in the treehouse, and she's telling him her PTC personal trauma card. That's Game of Roses terminology. They're having like a conversation about uh, uh, about how her dad died trying to save the rainforest, apparently. Uh, okay. Yeah, dude just found out her mom is Lydia Dietz, and he's like, she's a legend. And Lydia's like, if you believe in supernatural bullshit, he goes, you don't? She's like, no. I believe in things that I can see, science, facts, logic. She didn't say logic. She's getting tons of texts. And she's like, yeah, it's going to keep going back to the insanity. It's like, you ditched on a fucking funeral, dude. I understand that funerals are like really difficult, but if you ditch, you can't like be annoyed that people are trying to figure out where you're at and if you're okay. They're stressed too, dude. Like, have some sympathy for other people. Anyways, she's like, I should get back to the craziness. And he's like, oh, well, I'll be here if you want to ride back. And then it panned down the tree and down the roots underground. And it's showing a very sinister shot of Soul Sucker Lady walking through that death area and soul sucking again. Uh, okay. There, Willem Dafoe is being his dramatic death detective or dead detective. I don't fucking know. He's tracking her. It's like cases like this make me wonder why I even became a cop. And some woman comes up to him and goes, "You're not a cop. You're an actor." And he's like, "Thank you, Janet. You keep me real." Okay. And then they're saying she's Soul Sucker is probably, or Beetlejuice is probably laying low, scared out of his mind. So he's just barricading himself in. uh, he's telling some weird dead dude that uh wait a second. So the this whole time, anyway, he was telling the weird dead dude that he's gonna be his body double. That way he gets his soul sucked instead. Anyways, let me finish that thought. The dad, was he the principal from Ferris Bueller? And okay, he's dead in this movie and hasn't shown up. Is he dead in real life? And also, wasn't there some sort of like massive controversy with him? I can't remember if that was somebody else. Oh, anyways, I'll look that up. Um, uh, it showed Catherine screaming, and they like ran up to her and they're like, "What's the matter?" And she's like, "Oh, I was just trying to capture the perfect primal scream," and she was taking selfies. So, okay. Producer Lorelai is trying to push. Uh, Sorry, the mom, Lydia, was explaining to Jenna Ortega what had happened to the last ghosts, the ones that had been their friends, the one from the first movie. And she's like, we found a loophole and they moved on. Anyways, producer Lorelai is trying to get, producer fiance Lorelai is trying to get Winona Ryder to go back to her ghost show too soon and acting like all their grieving's going to be done real quick. Jenna Ortega has now gone up to the attic where the previous ghosts had lived, and uh, is pulling a sheet off of a miniature town. So I was right that the first shot of the house that we had seen was a miniature. We knew it. God, I can't believe we're only 45 minutes into this movie. Like, it's not terrible or nothing, you know? Like, it's just kind of whatever. Jenna Ortega sees a ad for the bioexorcist, uh, and she looks at it and goes, ew. Um, Now back to looking through boxes in the attic. I bet she's looking for it. Yeah, she found ones of her dad. Uh, and she's looking at the photos, and sad music is playing. Uh, it's like wind instruments, some sad flute, and showing Winona Ryder pregnant. Old photos of that. Now Winona Ryder has come upstairs, and is like, oh, I thought I lost those. That was. She was saying that photo was taken at an all-night horror fest when she was 9 months pregnant. She said my water broke during a showing of Kill Baby Kill. Uh, okay. Uh, Jenna Ortega's like, that miniature, did that exist? Or did that belong to Dad? And she's like, no, it was the non-existent ghost couple. Okay. Jenna Ortega said Beetlejuice, and then the mom lost her mind, and she's like, do not say that name. And then she's like, Beetlejuice, and she's like, I swear to God. Um, okay. And she's trying to rush her out of the attic, and it hops to a big ol' sign that says Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, and arrows pointing at Beetlejuice. Uh, okay. Winona Ryder comes outside going, oh, 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 and the mom's like, oh God, I thought a moose was coming to attack me. Pretty good. Um, the the Catherine is talking to uh, Winona Ryder, saying that they never had a great relationship, but oh, she met Lorelai at a sorrow circle. They were grieving and they connected. And she's like, yeah, he was turned on by you at the lowest point in your life. And I was like, actually, yeah, that does seem kind of unhealthy and super weird. But hey, maybe that's just me. Uh, okay. She showed the Beetlejuice poster and says like she needs to get her life back together. And Catherine's like, where's the obnoxious little goth girl that tormented me all those years ago? Where is she? Find her. uh, I haven't, uh, I can't see. My mod isn't here. Uh, so I honestly don't know if anybody can even hear me right now. Okay, it hopped to uh, Jenna Ortega visiting Lanky Cute Boy's house again. He's showing her around. Oh, of course, he's got a bunch of vinyls that she's checking out. Uh, she's like, "Where do you find these? eBay?" And he's like, "Trolling old record stores. I don't trust what I can't touch." But he believes in, oh, he's like, handbook for the recently deceased. And he said he got that at a yard sale. Um, Whoever's watching, by the way, I don't know if my audio works or not right now. I don't have my mod here, so let me know if it's awful and you can't hear me at all. Um, okay, so it's showing her looking through the book, and the guy is telling her, cute lanky boy is saying that he can't wait to get out of this town. Uh, she's saying how they had this plan that they would visit the top 10 spookiest places on Earth. Uh, oh, they said an accident where they searched the Amazon for a week and they never found his body. They never found his body. I know what that means for movies. That means he's not dead, right? And yeah, okay. Now he said, like, can't your mom contact him? She's like, she claims she can't even see him, which means that he's not dead then, right? Uh, said his, her dad used to go all out and make the most age inappropriate costumes. Uh, Weird. And saying now mom getting married on Halloween's probably going to ruin the holiday for me. He's like, well, why don't you come over earlier? We could we could order pizza and give out candy. Only if you want to. Okay. Adorable. Uh that sounds like a lovely time. Uh Now Lorelai is cleaning up and he's like, what's with all these birds? She's like, bird watching was my dad's passion. He's like talking about getting wedding dresses, and then he's like, uh a little birdie told some news outlets about the wedding. uh he said it'll be good press for the show. Oh, now she got interrupted with a bunch of pop-up ads for Beetlejuice on her phone. She runs up to the attic and is just screaming, I want you out of my life. Do you hear me? Um, uh, and she turns around to him and said, do you remember that couples therapist who said that I was holding something back and that we wouldn't evolve? He was right. And I'm going to tell you now, but fair warning, it's going to sound batshit crazy. Are you okay with that? He's like, of course, let's break through this barrier together. And she's like, okay, just give me a sec. Uh, when I was a teenager, a trickster demon terrorized my entire family and tried to force me to marry him. I believed he was gone forever. And then lately I've been seeing him again, and now he is actually back, and I don't know why or how or what to do. And then she holds up the ad, and then guy's like, okay, so you're saying this, saying Beetlejuice, and she finally explained it, explained that uh, you can't say his name 3 times or else he'll appear. I don't think that. Oh, he's like, I know that this is a big step, but I'm going to give you the push you need. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Of course, fucking Rory said that. Okay. And it transported them to inside the model. And he's like, what the hell? And she's like, I told you not to say his name. Now they've fallen through a weird trap, and it's very trippy, and it's like stretching out the screen. And they're, oh, now they landed in couples therapy with Beetlejuice as the therapist. And he went like this, and her mouth got sewn shut. Uh, and he's like, who wants to go first? And then he's like, I guess I will. And then opens up like his stomach, and a bunch of gross shit popped out. And now her stomach is growing really giant. And a demon baby fell out, a tiny Beetlejuice, but it's a puppet, and I appreciate practical effects. Okay, it's a little terrifying demon baby. Yeah, Beetlejuice is kicking it around now. Now it's crawling, and Lorelai's trying to say, like, you're a figment of my imagination to Beetlejuice. The demon baby is chewing on the leg of Winona Ryder. Um, and she's like, oh, that was you stalking me. And he's like, if by stalking you mean trying to remarry the love of my life, then guilty as charged, and goes forward to try to kiss her. And she goes, home, home, home. And now she's transported back to being big again. And he is very small. Be right here waiting for you. He's playing guitar and singing that to her. Um, and now Lorelai stood up, and he's like, I just had the wildest dream. And she's like, I think we should lay off the pills. Uh, Now it's showing snakes. Nice. Catherine's showing Jenna Ortega a glass thing full of snakes. And she's saying they've already been defanged. Perfectly harmless, feeling like they're not going to be harmless. And she's saying, sorry, she's like, uh, talking about, like, correcting her grandma on ancient Egyptian lore. And, now, uh, Winona Ryder came down and said that, uh, uh, that they gotta leave, all that. And now she's saying that Beetlejuice is back. She's saying it to Catherine. But Jenna Ortega's like, we can't leave yet. I've got plans with a boy. And she's like, how'd you have time to meet a boy? And she's like, you have time to get married. Now they're. She's like, can I go, Mom, please? Okay. Uh, they're chaining up the attic. Good move. Now Jenna Ortega's like, Mom, we're gonna be late. And they're driving away, presumably over to Boy's house. I don't trust him though, because he was like too into her too quickly. And maybe that's just me, and the fact that I do not fucking trust dudes, especially ones who are like really into you really fast. I appreciate people who are like, oh no, I'm not afraid to be into somebody, because that's pleasant. There's a difference between that. I just don't. maybe I have trust issues. Oh, the mom's getting out of the car to meet the parents. And Jenna Ortega's like, this isn't a this isn't a play date. Uh, uh, now Jenna Ortega hopping out, going and walking up to his house, and mom's driving away. So Buddy opens the door, and it's hella decorated uh, for Halloween. He's like, I raided the basement. I forgot that he's dressed as James Dean for Halloween. Uh, He's like, who are you supposed to be? And she's like, Marie Curie, two-time like Nobel winning radiologist and feminist icon. She was dying and she didn't even realize it. Like, what the fuck is that dialogue, dude? She's Marie Curie for Halloween and he's James Dean for Halloween. And he's like, oh, you quoted Dostoevsky? Where have you been all my life? Okay, he's like, I have a confession. Actually, I'd rather stay up here with you than go downstairs and hand out candy. He trying to fuck, and she's like, okay, yeah, that works too. And she looks like so uncomfortable, like she doesn't know that that's what he's trying to do. Okay, music, some electric guitar music came in. He kisses her. Uh, Now it's like a slow panning back from his face. It's really weird. Uh, and then she looks around. They were floating, and then she falls. And he's like, please don't freak out. And she's like, what are you? And he's like, don't you know? Astrid, really, you don't have to be scared. And she's like, you're a ghost. And he's like, she's like, she said her mom was telling the truth. And he said he used to get drunk and he died in the tree. And he said that he's stuck in the house and he spent time watching the world go by. And you came along and you could see me. And I've been in my home for so long. It's like a grenade had gone off in my head. It was amazing. You're amazing. I knew not to trust him. Boys always be not telling you something. Like, primarily, they're dead. Dudes will never tell you when they're dead, bro. Uh, Now he's saying, like, I want us to be together. And she's like, well, you're dead. I'm alive. How does that make any sense? And he's like, what if I told you I found a way to be alive, come back? Uh, okay, he's saying he can only come back with the help of a living person. And he's saying you could literally give me my life back. Uh, 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 he's like, I'm sure your mom will give you a million reasons to stay away, but I'll give you one reason to help me. You get to see your dad again. And she is taken aback by that, understandably so. All right. Uh, it's showing Catherine again signing the papers on selling the house. Uh, and she's like, "Where's Rory?" Like, uh, he's at the store changing out the candy for carrot sticks because he's got to fun suck everything. Uh, she's the other woman's like, I gotta skedaddle too. Uh, we want. They just said the closest we got to Disney is when Astrid dressed as Cinderella's dead mom. It's uh oh my god. Now this other woman is wearing a sweater that says mortgage and says I'm going by reverse I'm reverse mortgage. Uh uh it's the realtor. There we go. Okay. Uh Now she's talking about a murder house and she's like, that's where I dropped Astrid off. She's seeing a boy named Jeremy. And the realtor's like, Jeremy Fraser's bad news. 23 years ago, he murdered his parents. The cops found him hiding in his treehouse when he when the cops found him, he fell out of the treehouse, broke his neck, died instantly. Uh, uh, wow. They're doing that sequel thing where they try to like make fun of something that happened in the original. And she's like, really, all you do to go to the afterlife is draw in chalk? Oh, and then knock 3 times? So lame. And then it opens, just like, okay, well, maybe it's not that lame. Just, okay, now she's reading uh, the incantation. The mom is driving frantically over to the house. Uh, Now the mom's trying to get into the house. Okay, she's running around screaming Astrid's name. Oh, now it comes across the parents and they're murdered. And they're like, Jeremy, is that you? Uh, uh, I knew not to trust him. Dude, never trust boys. That's the moral of this story. That's the moral of the show. The whole movie is never trust boys. And he's like, all right, let's go see your dad. And Winona Ryder gets up there just in time to see him and her walking through the wall to go to the afterlife. Uh, Lydia grabs the book, the handbook for the dead, and runs out the door. Now, uh, now Jenna Ortega's in the underworld afterlife thing or whatever, and saying we need, or the dude's figuring out where they need to go, and she's like, remember to ask about my dad. uh oh, now the grandpa uh rolled up. Oh, gross. He sat down and like blood splattered everywhere. uh he's next to a surfer dude who got the bottom half of him. uh mm, okay. Catherine's now at her husband's She's at her husband's tombstone, and his tombstone, I didn't realize, is shaped like a fin, a shark fin. Okay, that's fucking hysterical. Um, she's doing some sort of ritual. Uh, she's saying, I, your surviving queen, proudly take up the mantle of, and then she's holding the snakes, and then both snakes just right in her neck take out Catherine. So I wonder if she's dead too. Looked like she was. She said they were defanged, but clearly they're not. Uh, we are back to Lorelai is handing out Halloween candy. He's handing out, well, nope, he's handing out breadsticks and raisins. And now Winona Ryder ran up to the miniatures and she goes, I can't believe I'm doing this. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Uh, and the miniature is cracking open and like a giant sinkhole in the middle. And there's like screaming and smoke. And now, slowly from the sinkhole in the middle of the miniature town, Beetlejuice is rising. And he gets up and he goes, the juice is loose. And she's like, I need you to tell me what this means. And he says, oh, the boy is trading her soul. So, she's hopping on the soul train, apparently. Uh, Beetlejuice is saying, well, yeah, I can help you, but it's a quid pro quo. Uh, yeah, and he's saying that he wants Winona Ryder to marry him uh, if he helps. Okay, and she's like, fine, I'll marry you if you help me save my daughter. And she signed a contract saying that. And he's like, I'm going to make you so happy. Uh, okay. They're drawing a chalk door now. They're running over. Oh, it's oh, ha! He was drawing a bomb on the wall in chalk, like a big cartoon bomb. He's like, we can't exactly go through the front door. And there's a fuse drawn in chalk, and he like lights it on the ground. And it looks like it will be exploding a wall open. We'll get to see. Yup. And it exploded the wall open. That was a fun little practical effect. I wonder how they do the. Is it puppets for the weird little creepy heads? It looks like a lot of practical stuff, but it feels like puppets. Now, okay, everybody, back to work. Uh, Bob said that. Now everybody realizes that Bob wasn't Beetlejuice, so they're all running through the doorway. Oh, to the real world, looks like. Yeah, all the weird little dead things. Uh, uh, Running back through. So are they going to be in the ghost house? Yup. Now they're all running down the stairs. They're all the little shrunken head dudes. And Lorelai is running away from them screaming. Uh, which, I'm not like I don't I don't blame him. They're scared. Now it hops to Willem Dafoe pointing gun at the screen and screaming. And yeah, it shows the mirror because clearly he was just acting. Uh, okay. There's a code 699 violation. Somebody illegally broke into the afterlife. And he's like, time to call the ghoul squad. Uh, ooh. Okay, so it's Beetlejuice that he's after, and Lydia, Willem Dafoe's actor, uh, actor cop. Oh, he's giving like a rallying speech, and it shows behind all the ghoul dudes uh, that Willem Dafoe's assistant is holding cue cards and like dropping them. Okay, it showed Catherine now. Yeah, yup, she's in the afterlife. And she's like, no, no, no. Oh, okay, that's a bummer. she's like, a mistake's been made because I'm not supposed to be here. And they direct her to waiting in line. In the first movie, did we have as many scenes in uh that place, that one room, the like first waiting room? I don't know, felt like we didn't have as many. Okay, now they're saying next, telling them to stand on their marks and look directly into camera, and said cheese, and it took a photo of Jenna Ortega, and then she like one like that and was like, I feel strange. And he's like, I feel amazing, go figure. He's like, remember the chant I got you to recite? You agreed to swap your life for mine. And he's laughing. Dude, no, I knew. I knew. I was like, dudes can't be fucking trusted, bro. I just don't appreciate, do not appreciate. He's like, I never agreed to this. And okay. Uh, they're saying his transfer isn't permanent until he gets his thing stamped. Oh, she just saw her dad stamping. I thought they never found him. And she's like, Dad? And he's like, Astrid, he's screaming for it. Oh, and he's being like eaten by little fish and stuff. Okay, so I guess the dad was dead. They really got me on that one with the like, oh, they never found his body and the mom can't see him. I really thought like, okay, well then he's not dead. But look at that. Look at that. He looks dead as fuck to me. Okay. We're back to Soul Sucker Woman. She sees a photo of Beetlejuice and she licks it. Now she sees a photo of Winona Ryder and she stomps on it. The actress is committed. I appreciate she really put her all into licking that picture, I guess. Uh, okay. There, oh, there, Beetlejuice and Winona Ryder are wandering down hallways, and he's explaining how to find the Soul Train. And he's like, I gotta go to the little boy's room first. Uh, now, everybody's dressed real 70s for the Soul Train. Okay, I mean, it makes sense. Uh, yeah, everybody's dancing. They're like, all aboard the Soul Train. And, uh, yeah, everybody's just disco dancing. Bunch of ghosts. Uh, two ghosts are, security guards are pulling Jenna Ortega over to the train, and she's trying to resist. They push her on. Oh no, it's about to become Madam Web. Uh, everybody's hopping on with her. Now Winona Ryder's gotta chase her on, right? She does, but is she gonna make it on in time before the doors close? Everybody's on the train now, dancing. Uh, the mom gets, oh, okay, Winona Ryder got Jenna Ortega pulled off of the Soul Train. Uh, now the Ghoul Squad is after them, and uh, the dad's coming. Uh, dad's running up and sees them escaping. They go out a door and fall into uh, a desert, and they're just like screaming, "Where are we?" And she's like, "Hey, that's Saturn, so we must be on one of its moons." There's somebody walking their dog out front of me. It's a pretty cute dog. Uh, now it shows uh, the ground is all wobbly and a giant, oh, sandworm. Okay, this was in the first one, wasn't it? A big weird. sandworm thing. Well, anyways, it's going in and out of the sand. The dad comes up, grabs Jenna Ortega's hand, and then goes back and grabs Winona Ryder's. The sandworm comes at them, and they close the door on it, only barely escaping. Uh, there's the dad was getting gross coffee, and they're all sitting down happily. Uh, he's just like smiling at Jenna Ortega while he's got uh, uh, fish hanging off of him everywhere. But he's like, Mary Curie after the radiation poisoning. And she's like, I learned from the best. And he turns to Winona Ryder and he's like, we made a great kid. Uh, he's like, I know you can't see me, but I check in on you both all the time. Okay, but like, why can't they see him then? They couldn't figure out why that was. Uh, okay, they're saying they can't leave until Astrid gets her life back. That's Jenna Ortega. Willem Dafoe's assistant, by the way, Olga, has a giant spike going through her neck, and it's very long and it's very funny whenever she tries to turn. Um, it looks not easy. Uh, somebody turned their headlights on, those jerks. That's all right. Uh, Bob. Bob's being taken for interrogation by Willem Dafoe, and he's interrogating him to try to figure out where Beetlejuice is. Now we're back to another drone shot of the city, and all the shrunken head dudes are terrorizing the town by like riding bicycles and uh uh sorry, those people in the car were making eye contact with me. Don't make eye contact with me. No, I'm kidding. uh So a priest has rolled up on Lorelei and is saying like, "How about I give you a ride back to the church?" Missed why that was anything that mattered, like why he would need to go back to the church, but okay. Uh, Catherine's scooching through the line and being like, somebody's made a terrible mistake. I'm not supposed to be dead. The woman's like, honey, you're dead. Take a number and sit down. And she's like, is there anyone here? She's like, is there anyone here who has the power to help me? And she goes, did that line used to work for you? Uh, uh, she's like, but my husband, Charles, he can help. She's like, I know people. I am people. She's saying, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. He popped up and he was like, I get it. Uh, she's like, will you help me find Charles, please? And then the VIP lounge. And he's like, yeah, just as soon as you help me find my runaway bride. And she's like, eh. Okay. We've got Soul Sucker Woman prancing around again. She comes across Shrunken Head Bob. Uh, is like, slams on the table and is like, where is he? Tell me. Bob doesn't want to say, and so she opens her mouth and starts sucking his soul out. Ew. Poor Bob. Uh, she's still sucking his soul out, and he crumples. Oh, Bye, Bob. All right. Well, sorry, little buddy. Sucks to suck. Sucks to have your soul sucked. That was terrible. I don't feel good about that. Oh, uh they came across the boy and they're like, "Don't stamp that passport." And he doesn't. It turns out to be Beetlejuice who stamps the passport and it says you're shit out of luck. And he says, I think it was Dostoevsky who said, fuck you, motherfucker, or like something like that. It was pretty great. And then the boy gets sent down to hell. I wonder if that was like the end of that storyline because we're at the 85-minute mark. So dad's telling them to take care of each other and go back to the world of the living. Um, they're climbing up a ladder. Jenna Ortega and Winona Ryder, or Jenna Ortega, uh, is Winona Ryder coming behind her? Oh no, she's like, gotta marry Beetlejuice. Oh yeah, Jenna Ortega's like, thank you for saving my life. I'm sorry I never believed that you saw ghosts, and I'm just sorry for all of it. Uh, and now Lydia is like, uh, saying, "Oh my God, my wedding," uh, and the daughter's like, "You don't have to do this," and Lydia's like, "If I don't do it now, I never will. Rory loves me. That's got to be enough." That's not how that works, girl. That's depressing, in fact. That's kind of a bummer. Uh, the He's like, who all's here? And he's like, just a couple of influencers, nobody under 5 million followers. I think there's a Netflix producer in here. Uh, all the background, doing a great job. It would have been very fun. Do I know anybody in the background? That's a fun game to play too. Is okay. Uh, uh, the she's now everybody's learning that Lydia agreed to marry Beetlejuice, and Lorelai appears to be annoyed at her for it. Uh, uh, ooh, Beetlejuice just put a giant needle in Lorelai's neck, and uh, like, I always thought your whole act was bullshit. I never believed in ghosts, spirits, any of it. She's like, why'd you want to get married? And he's like, money. I thought I could make more as your husband than I could as your manager. And I never had a dead fiance. I just went to that survivor's retreat so I could meet weak women and exploit them. And I hit the codependent lottery when I met you. Okay, that's pretty great. She grows a boxing mitt on her hand, Winona Ryder does, and punches him in the face. He's Beetlejuice is saying, I'd like to thank you all for coming to this very special occasion, but right now I'd like just a little privacy. Everybody turns the cameras back around on themselves, and the cameras start sucking their faces off into the screens, and all the people get sucked into their screens. Okay, that's weird. The priest tries to go away, and Beetlejuice is like, where you going, Padre? Puts Winona Ryder in a red wedding dress. Beetlejuice pulls out his heart, and it's got a lot of worms in it, and throws it over to Winona Ryder. Now he's singing her song. This appears to be an original song. But I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, now the priest is singing. Yeah, this is a original song. It's very weird. Um, the priest was singing now. Behind the priest, uh, came out a giant cake, a giant wedding cake. Uh, okay. The Beetlejuice is singing through the mouth of Winona Ryder, and they're like singing together. Now he's singing through the mouth of Catherine O'Hara and now Jenna Ortega, and it's making her dance. Uh, they're just being forced to dance real weird. Okay. Um, they're just singing. They're just singing and dancing the weirdest fucking thing. Uh, Gross. And it's showing a cake that's like they keep singing someone left the cake out in the rain. Uh, they're like, I don't think that I can take it because it took so long to bake it, and I'll never have that recipe again. Dude, I don't make the rules. I'm not making up what's happening in the movie. I am simply relaying what's happening in the movie. So, uh, he's still singing his original song to her at the 91-minute mark. Uh, Ew, his eyes are big and gross. Uh, he's like, and after all the loves of my life, uh, and it's showing his ex, the soul sucker, and then a dog. I hope he just like, loved his dog, not like was like in love with a dog. Okay, finally, it cut away from the song. Uh, oh no, they're just on a musical break in the song. Uh, Willem Dafoe's character with the Ghoul Squad is coming to run him down. We're back to the song. They're floating uh, as they sing and dance slowly. They slow dance in the air. How long is this movie, bro? Okay. And he's like, he's still singing and his head is twisting around. Willem Dafoe is leading the ghoul squad to start. There we go. They're smashing through the windows in the church. Uh, okay, smashing through the windows in the church. And they've all got their guns on Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice shouts, freeze, and everybody freezes. Now, Soul Sucker Woman blasts all the doors open and is like, Beetlejuice. And he goes, what the fuck? And it bleeps the word fuck. And she goes, I'm back. Is this PG-13 and they didn't get one fuck in the movie? Or did they already use it? Or are they going to use it later? Uh, but why'd they bleep that? Uh, and he's like, yeah, bit of an afterlife crisis. I've changed a lot. Um, uh, oh, okay. Um, Beetlejuice is like, you need a soulmate, somebody who really sees you, and then has Lorelai wearing a shirt that says "I heart Dolores," and Dolores looks she's like taken aback for a moment, so it looks like she's into it. Now the sandworms have just shown up. He's speaking in Spanish again. He goes, "Worst wedding ever. Come here, big boy." And he's like, "Right this way, good." Uh and now the giant snake ate both Lorelei and the soul sucker woman. And Beetlejuice is like, "Hey, we had a deal." And Jenna Ortega says like, "Well, you violated Rule 699, uh, uh, and saying that that contract's null and void," and so the contract blew up. And now she's like, Winona Ryder's like, "I'm sorry, the 600-year age gap was just a little much for me." And now she's saying, "Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice," and he's exploded into a bunch of little scraps. And he's like, "Should have gotten married in Vegas," and then bursts into a puff of smoke. All the ghouls became unfrozen. Willem Dafoe's like, "Looks like we're a little late, boys." And I'm like, "Little lady, you just popped his Beetlejuice. Uh, you can take a selfie now if you'd like, but make it quick." Uh, uh, the snakes were actually poisonous. And she's like, "Yeah, so I died of embarrassment." Uh, but she's like, "I'll miss you." And she goes, "No, you won't. I'll find Charles and we'll haunt you both until you're begging us to move on." Now Willem Dafoe's pulling away Catherine. Uh, and it's just Winona Ryder, Jenna Ortega, and they're looking at each other meaningfully. They give each other a hug. It's a long hug. At 97 minutes. Oh, it's back to the Soul Train. Uh, Everybody's dancing for the Soul Train still. It shows Catherine O'Hara. She's walking through tentatively. She finds Charles getting on, uh, even though he's missing his entire head. He's like, "I can't believe you're here." And she's like, "Oh, Charles." He's like, "I'm so happy to see you." And she goes, "Oh, Charles, look what happened to me." Even though he's like, yeah. The conductor's like, 10:14 to the great beyond. All aboard the Soul Train. And it cuts to black. Now it's back to Winona Ryder close saying, "I want to thank all you ghosties for all the support over the years, but this is my last show. I've spent so much time talking to the dead. It's time I started living." And showing her riding in a car. "I want to make memories with the people I love rather than be haunted by them later. Rather than be haunted by them later." Nice. Uh, Now it's showing Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega walking around. She sees some boy that looks just like the tall, lanky boy who killed her that one time. And he's dressed as Dracula. And she looks at him for a long time, and now it just cut to them walking out of a wedding. They got married. she married a boy who looked exactly like the boy who killed her that one time. And now it's showing Winona Ryder in the hospital with Jenna Ortega as she holds her baby, or goes to give birth. No, she's not holding the baby yet. It looked like she was about to. No, she's giving birth, and Winona Ryder's just like smiling at her. This is so strange. Uh, why did it time jump to this? Oh, it jumps ahead. Something horrible. It's the demon Beetlejuice baby comes out and starts eating all the nurses, and she's screaming, and Beetlejuice baby climbs up the walls and the glass, and now it's on the ceiling, and it starts eating a light bulb. It falls down on Jenna Ortega's lap and goes, "Mommy," and reaches for her. Winona Ryder wakes up from a nightmare, and Beetlejuice is next to her and goes, "I just had the weirdest dream." Okay, now she wakes up again. How many endings does this movie have? Now she wakes up again and nobody's next to her. Cuts to black. 2 UPMs. We don't know either of the ADs, but I wish I did. Good job ADing, you guys. There was a lot in there that would be a lot to handle, and even like the makeup, the amount of makeup that everybody had to go through every day, uh, would be really annoying. That's really early hours, and it's just rolling through the actor credits right now. Um, uh, yeah, when there's so many cast that have a lot of makeup, you got to get there really early in the morning to do that. Like on Loki, which doesn't even admittedly have that much like crazy like makeup, like prosthetics wise, you know, it's not like the wildest thing in the world. Um, that in loving memory of Bob is what it just said. Um, but yeah, we had to get to work at 3 a.m. every day for Loki. For the most part, it was wild. Okay, so uh, I wasn't huge on that. I I don't really know how I feel about that. Checking the stunt people real quick to see if there's anybody I know. Oh, it's going by too fast and it's so hard to see. I don't immediately recognize anybody. Oh, okay. Set designers, okay. Visual consultant. It's now showing like one credit on screen at a time. Okay, now back to camera. Don't recognize any of them. I'm pretty sure this was an LA movie, right? So I'm less likely to know people than if it was a New York or obviously Atlanta one. But it's always fun to watch and find out. Uh, yeah, wow. What a weird time. I didn't hate it, I guess. It could have been a lot worse. Didn't love it. Um, it was like kind of lame at parts. Uh, but yeah, wow, what a somewhat mid movie. Uh, but I mean, everybody worked really hard on it, and that was very noticeable. It's not an easy movie to make. I just, writing wise, it wasn't my favorite. Um, just because I I don't know, just because it was like the dialogue was a little lame sometimes, and some of the plot was a little lame sometimes. And I know that that's not fantastic feedback, and I'm really sorry. Uh, but that's what it is. That was Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. I at least had a good time hanging out with y'all. Uh, it will be interesting when I watch this back to see if there is gonna be any audio or anything since I don't have my mod. Yeah, this has been rad, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. And I will see you again soon, I'm sure. Night night.